but government provides salary to officer or employees, right, to help the needy people, and they solve their needy people problem, right, through means that is a channel, government, officer and public, right. Government implement policy and scheme, officer they implement, and needy people they get benefit. Means government employee one type of mediator, they are bridge, they implement the government policy and guidelines, right. But politician work is a little bit different, they never focus it, they only little bit they do it different way. That is a big issue, that's why politician and administrative they are opposite both, sometimes some cases, if you think about it, right. Yes. Yeah, definitely, definitely. I also preparing. I also appeared so many times, so different. That's why I'm learning language how to speak better way. Yeah, I know. Huh? And no, I can speak. Right now I can speak with you in survival. Right? It is not a professional way. Sometimes what happen if we interact with professional people or higher well-educated people, that's when we record professional talking, right, not like a casual talking or friendly talking, right. That mode of talking is a different, because we have to, if we interact with any uh, officer or administrative officer, then we have to tell them about point to point, step by step, orderly and logically, not a critical type of, right. But if we talk with this type of conversation, then it's okay, but we record police or everything, right. Because of sometime you see communication solve the problem. That's why sometimes people, why they get a depression, right, why they require psychiatrist doctor, right, because they cannot communicate their issue and problem, right, they cannot communicate their sadness or anything. That's why they cannot they cannot solve their problem. That's why communication, everyone should learn how to communicate with others, any well educated people, normal people, friend, right. Because one thing also I think, we always communicate with the friend, family members and other people also, but we cannot communicate with, we don't get chance to communicate with stranger. We don't know how to communicate with stranger. Right now I'm talking with you, if I see offline or physical, then I maintain the social distance from you. I don't want to disclose everything in front of you, right. That's why we have to learn how to communicate with also stranger, that is also required, right. We cannot disclose anything, our personal details in front of that person, that is a different, but at least we can communicate any new people if we see them, right. That is also we have to learn. Only we know how to communicate friends, family members, and other people, but we don't know how to communicate with stranger. Then we have to also learn. That is also required, right? Because you want to do in social work, right? In future, then definitely you always meet a stranger. You always meet unknown people. You have to learn how to make them understand, right. Then you always ready to change their mindset, right. If they negative people, you make them understand and you make their positive mind, right. Otherwise you cannot do it your social work, right. Am I right? Yeah, that's why that kind of we require, because you always get a we always get a negative people and bitter atmosphere around us. We never get positive people in our way, right? And it is also good for us. We if you always meet a positive people, and all positive people, your good friend, they always tell you you are a good student, you are a good at everything, you are a knowledgeable student, you are a intelligent, then you don't know where you are weak, right? If you meet a negative people, then they make you understand where you are weak, right? Then okay, tell me. Okay. Hmm. 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 Okay, that is a good question for me. Hmm. 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 Okay. I got. Hmm. 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 I got your point, because inside family also 50% people support us and 50% people they demotivate us. They always miss focus are negative, right? They tell always negative, you don't do this, you will be miss get problem, right? But we know what we want to do, and I always accept their negative on positive way. Why that person tell this point, I know that point is a good, that work is a good. My suppose my family in my family support 50%, that is a good, what you want to do that is a good, you can do, and 50% they never support. Then I listen to who never support me, I listen what they want to tell me. After that I want to evaluate where is it means, why they tell it, why I can't do it. After that I means analysis about why they refuse. After that I get conclude and I try to make them understand. Negative people, they always they tell you negative, they never tell you positive. That is a only one thing, because negative people their mindset is a, that type of, if you do positive they always tell you negative, if you do negative they always tell you negative. Then you think what is good or bad, we can capably to think about anything. One thing also I want to tell you, if you decide to do anything, don't require to you should not take advice from other. If you can't decide to do any kind of work, then you take advice from other. That is a one thing. If you decided, then no need to discussion. If you can't decide, then it require discussion. Get my point? Yes, yes, yes. Good. Yeah. Then that is only you think. If you decided, then you don't discuss in front of anyone, any family member, any people, anything. You go ahead. Or if you confused, or if you cannot decide, if you can decide, then you require discussion and you take advice from your well wisher. or any good people, right? Or